What's up?
Not much. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, I guess, given everything going on. So yeah,
Yeah, that's a good thing. 'Cause
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
there's a lot that's going on.
Yes, absolutely.
So, how was your day?
Uh, Good so far. I had one meeting I just got out of, and I've been trying to get my studio and my classroom set up for the fall semester. So it's been a busy few months, really. But today was
So,
pretty.
was it a real meeting or a Zoom meeting?
Well, it's just a meeting between fellow furniture makers. So it's sort of like kind of informal, but we're just kind of sharing ideas and
Okay,
figuring
so it was
out.
a real meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, so introduce yourself. Tell us where you are, and
Okay,
then we'll hop into the questions.
sure. So I'm Sophie Glenn, and I'm currently in Starkville, Mississippi, teaching sculpture at Mississippi State University. And for the most part, I am a furniture maker and metal worker.
Okay, cool. You look crazy young.
I'm 31.
21?
31.
31.
Yeah.
You look 21.
Oh, well, thank you.
Do you ever get carded?
Not so much anymore, but I used to quite a bit. Yeah.
You're in a college town, so.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
All right, so you ready to go with the questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Word or phrase you overuse?
I'm sorry?
Word or phrase that you overuse?
Word or phrase that I overuse? The one I like to use a lot is hope for the best but expect the worst. So can't ever get disappointed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite thing to do?
Least favorite thing? Probably planning for anything.
You're not a planner?
I've gotten to be more of a planner as I've gotten a little older, but having the forethought to actually get it done and not procrastinate is a whole other story.
What is your most favorite thing to do?
Lately, well, work on my own stuff, so my furniture pieces, welding. So. Mhm.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
What is the one thing your significant other would change about you?
I don't think he would change a thing about me. He loves me and I love him. No, it's not really an answer, but
Well, that's good.
yeah.
Keep living.
Yeah.
What makes you tick?
Seeing fellow furniture makers and craftspeople come up with new ideas that are inspiring and like, yeah. So I love seeing that kind of stuff.
All right. What irks you the most?
What hurts me the most?
Irks you the most?
Hurts. Wait, sorry. Hurts the most?
Irks. What irks you? Bothers you?
Oh, irks. Okay.
Excuse my southern accent.
No, I'm a little hard of hearing, so sometimes I get the words mixed up. What irks me the most? Slow walkers. I'm from New York originally, so that still drives me insane.
What part?
The city, Manhattan. I was born and raised there.
Okay.
Hmm.
And you wind up in Mississippi.
Yeah, it's a long story.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
What sound makes you happiest?
What style makes me happiest?
Sound.
Oh, sound.
Is the fan bothering you?
No. I just, yeah. It's a little hard hearing, so it's just me. I like to hear the birds chirping in the morning. It's always nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Real nice.
Hmm.
What sound bothers you the most?
Ooh, probably police sirens. Hmm. Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to try?
Ooh, probably writing. I really respect writers, so yeah.
What kind of writing would you like to do?
Well, that's also a good question. Like, my partner's really into like sci-fi stuff. I don't know if I'd be into that, but I usually like historical fiction, so maybe something along those lines. Hmm.
Do you read a lot of historical?
I do, yeah. I tend to gravitate more towards those kinds of books. things like that. Yeah.
Huh.
Hmm.
There's a lot of history in your state.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent as the days go on. So, yeah. But we got the flag change, so that's exciting.
Yes, that's the start.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the start.
Long overdue, but it's very much a start.
What would you want on your tombstone?
Ooh. Probably something simple. 'Cause I'm not too like overtly crazy or anything like that. So maybe just like hopefully good person, metal worker, good furniture maker.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it about your personality that drives your business?
Well, I think I'm pretty determined. So if I have my mind set on something, I usually figure out a way to get it or figure out how to get it. So that's been working for me so far. So we'll see.
Okay. What is it about your personality that hinders your business?
Well, I used to be really quiet and reserved, and I've slowly been getting over that. But my tendency is still to like be nervous during presentations or even interviews. So I think I'm getting better at it.
You're doing pretty good.
All right, yeah.
So, okay, so your nervousness, you being reserved, would that be sometimes when you're with a client, when you give a price?
It's more if I'm giving like an artist talk for like a class or for like like a larger audience, because like I've gotten better about it when it's coming to work, but if I'm trying to like even like giving a lecture in class, like trying to make sure that they're getting all the information and making it entertaining for them a little bit, so it can be a little nerve-wracking.
How big are your classes?
They're not too big. I usually have about between 10 and 15 people per class. But I've given lectures. I've given larger lectures to like 50 people. So, yeah.
Okay. Who would you travel cross country with on a motorcycle?
My buddy Nate used to drive a motorcycle. He might still drive a motorcycle. He's a bit of a character, so that'd be pretty fun.
All right. What was your favorite concert?
Ooh. It's been so long since I've been to a concert. I've been to like there was like a whole series of concerts like 2007, 2008 that were like bands reuniting. So I got to see the Police twice, and that was really cool. Yeah.
Let me tell you something, girl. You don't know nothing about no Police.
I love the Police. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That, yeah. I'm an 80s baby. Well, not an 80s baby. I'm a 70s baby.
Mm-hmm.
And love the Police. Love the Police.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's. Do you listen to any other 80s music, or is it just the Police?
Oh no, I listen to like David Bowie's one of my favorites. I really wish I could have seen him before he passed. And yeah, I've been listening to a ton of 80s music lately. That's kind of like my go-to studio jam. I'll just put like a Spotify playlist and yeah.
All right. Favorite rock band?
Led Zeppelin.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I was asking someone about who was better, Zeppelin or Stones. Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When was the last time you cried?
A few weeks ago. Trying to gear up for this coming semester, and it's been very stressful because we're supposed to be going face to face, but we have also have to prepare for going fully online because of the pandemic. So it's been a lot of work and a lot of stress.
So another scenario with no plan.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm planning as much as I can, but we'll see. Yeah.
I don't mean from you. I mean from the people telling you what to do.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's basically just like you guys are on your own, so go for it. I'm like,
you know,
great.
I'm from Louisiana.
Okay.
And my family goes back 5 generations that I know of.
Wow.
My grandfather's grandmother was a slave.
Mm-hmm.
His grandfather was a white slave owner.
Wow.
And his dad fought in one of the world wars. I think we may have done both world wars. And I'm as patriotic as one can be. I have a shop full of old machines, and I think only one is not American made.
Yeah.
And I have an enormous amount of machines in my shop. But and I'm coming to terms with my love and my hate for my country. And when we, you know, I've traveled a little bit. You know, I've been to parts of Europe, South America, Latin America, and everybody wants to come here because it's the best place in the world to live. But it also has its issues.
Oh, a lot of issues, yeah.
And for us to be the most civilized country in the world, there's just some damn things we just can't get right.
I know, and like everything that's going on now is like, especially with the virus, it's really been like illuminating all those issues that we've had for a very long time. But most of our administration currently hasn't wanted to do anything about it. So, a lot of, I mean, not to say that the virus is good by any means, but it really has started to give this country an awakening of sorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what impact do you want to leave on your industry?
Well, I would like to be a really prominent woman furniture maker. I mean, being a woman in this field really sort of drives a lot of my work, certainly in furniture making, but also in metalworking. So I would like to be impactful in that way.
So being a woman in this industry, you have a responsibility.
Yeah, whether I want it or not, yeah.
And how does that make you feel?
I think at first it was, at first I really didn't realize it all that much because I was just getting into it and I was just really fascinated with making furniture and I just wanted to keep going. But as I've gotten older, and especially in this day and age, it's gotten...
it's like, excuse me, hey, there's a little bit more for you to do than going to shop and well.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, then it's like you look through like fine woodworking magazines and there's like very few women in there, very few people of color, and you're just like, okay, well, if no one's going to represent me, then I guess I have to represent myself and other women in this field. So, and I've come to really be proud of the fact that I can be a contributing member of that society in that way.
Yeah, I think that's amazing that you take that responsibility, because part of the problem that we have is most people are comfortable and don't want that kind of responsibility.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I know a bunch of other female and gender nonconforming makers who are making strides in that. So like my friend Sarah Marriage started a shop in Baltimore specifically for women and gender nonconforming craftspeople and woodworkers specifically. So she's like invested all of her time and efforts into getting that up and running, and it's like really turning into something prominent in the city of Baltimore. There's like lots of other examples too. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think that we're too comfortable with how good things are. And I was speaking to her this morning about being selfish and people being selfish. But I think that in this country we're very, very spoiled. And the thing that we most oppose is being inconvenienced.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Sure.
And it's not like really inconvenience. I'm talking about slightly inconvenienced.
Mm-hmm. Well, wearing masks is like a perfect example of that.
Yes. And
Yeah.
let me tell. And when people and when I talk about that, I got to tell the other side of that,
Mm-hmm.
because the mask refers to the white people that don't want to wear masks.
Yeah.
And that's the inconvenience. So I'm going to tell you about the inconvenience of the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I do protest bike riding on the weekend, and it's just justice rides.
Great.
And
Yeah.
it's like, 10, 15,000 people riding around the city, banging on the drum, singing
Yeah.
goofy chants.
That's
It's
wonderful. Yeah.
for the cause, and it's people that I don't know if I've ever seen anyone that I would look like, okay, that person is probably really rough. I may commit a crime. It's just a bunch of homogenized people who want to make a difference, who feel the passion to push forward. And we're riding for Black lives, for justice for Black people. We're in Black neighborhoods. And part of that is stopping the traffic so the riders can ride. And some Black people get out of their car because they want to go through.
Yeah.
They don't want to be inconvenienced.
Right. Yeah.
And the first time I'm like, we're riding for justice for Black people and you don't want to wait.
Oh yeah.
But in their eyes, it doesn't matter. They just don't want to wait.
Right. Yeah.
Just like wearing a mask is to save the life of the next person, and people don't want to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So on both sides of the spectrum, we as Americans really do not want to be inconvenienced.
No, not at all. I mean, I see it in students all the time. It's like, and it's really like from the advent of technology, really. Like, I'll ask them like a simple question, like, what's 1/2 minus 1/4, and they'll just easily pull out their phones and look for the answer. I'm like, no, you should.
Because it's convenient.
Yeah, but the other part of it is like they'd rather not think about it, even though they know the answer, but it's just so easy for them to pull out their phones and look it up. And it's just like, come on. It's like critical thinking is just like totally out the window these days. Like, it doesn't happen anymore.
And that's going to hurt the country. It's going to hurt the world.
Oh, I think it has been especially in education. I think it has been for quite a while, but yeah.
When was the most difficult time for your business, and how did you overcome it?
Well, I don't really have a business necessarily, but because I'm really right now I'm teaching, so that's primarily where my money's coming from. So a lot of the work I make is really just it's like supplemental to my teaching contract, but if I make money on the side, that's also great. But probably like one of the most challenging things was it's like being financially literate. So like I'm just now starting to get a little bit more financially literate and understanding like the business end of things, because I was
go into that a little bit more.
Yeah. So I've really been researching different investment opportunities because I don't plan. So I'll just say it right now. I don't really plan on being here for past another year. So I really want to get myself into a position where I have at least a little bit of money saved up and invested, so it'll start growing on its own. So then I can start to do my own work as build my own business, really. So I've been looking into low-cost index funds and investing money, so basically investing into the stock market, but and just letting the money sit there and do its thing, and I'll contribute to it, and then hopefully it'll flourish into at least a decent amount of money by the time I leave here.
What is it about? I'm going to finish the question, and then we get into Mississippi.
Yeah.
Do you have any Black friends?
Some, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you often see people of color in your industry?
No. That's been a problem for a while.
How do you think we change that?
Well, I think it takes the people wanting to see that change happen, for one. Like I mentioned before, my friend has built that shop in Baltimore, so she's been wanting to get more women in the industry. And I think it's slowly happening in the POC communities as well. So I think that, I mean, it starts with the people, really, and getting people to get out of their usual way of thinking and accept people.
Yeah, and that's the people on both sides.
Yeah,
That's the people who are in the industry inviting people in, and that's the people on the outside being open to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Who would you like to have a conversation with?
Ooh, is it living or dead, or any kind of criteria?
Both.
I would love to hear from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, just how she's viewing the country at this point. I'm very politically driven these days, so.
Yeah, she has a serious opinion, which is why she hasn't retired.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess she's like my top choice. Maybe Michelle Obama too, or just the Obamas in general,
Yeah, that's another good one, because I as intelligent as I think he is, I think she's the smarter of the two.
Yeah, I think so too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, the floor is yours.
Okay.
So what we want to talk about is your journey, which it's not that long ago. So let's go from high school.
Okay. So I went to LaGuardia High School in Manhattan. So I don't know if you know LaGuardia High School, or if you know the movie Fame, it was that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to that high school.
So now, are you gifted in that way?
I was always prone to visual art. Yeah. So I'm not like a dancer or singer.
That's what I meant. A performer.
No. I did play drums for a little bit while I was between like junior high school and high school, but I was not gifted. I don't think. But I went to that high school at the point where they had an art program, visual art program, so I got for that. Yeah. Then from there, I went to SUNY Purchase College, which is in Westchester County, New York, and studied. I did liberal arts at first, and I did the 5-year program, and I ended up getting a sculpture degree from there. And it was there that I actually met Vivian Beer through a visiting artist program that they had, and I got to take a class with her, and she's a metal furniture maker, and she just kind of like opened my eyes to that whole section of furniture making and metalworking. So I just kind of fell in love with it from then on out.
Okay, let me ask, did her being another woman inspire you, or?
I think it, I don't know if I realized it, but I really think it did. And it was such like a unique opportunity too, because she was only there for a semester, and that program was a Wingate funded program, so it's usually just furniture makers or other craftspeople, woodworkers mostly. But she came in there as a metalworking furniture maker. So that was I didn't even know that existed really until she came into the picture. And then she showed me how to TIG weld for the first time, and it was like one of those things that just immediately clicked, and it's like I took to it right away, and I was like, okay, this is it. So yeah, I think her being her had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I went to a high school that was all black, all male.
Okay.
And before that, I was in special ed from 3rd to the 9th grade. I was not in black schools.
Okay.
It was a Catholic private high school, and me seeing other people like me thrive made it made it a standard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there was no reason why I couldn't do it, because I see others doing it like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like when I brought up with the fine woodworking magazines again. It's like seeing someone that looks like you in publications like that is really inspiring, whether you realize it or not. Because it's like, okay, this person can do it. They look like me. Like, why can't I do it too? Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
Yeah. So from there, I worked for a small metal fabrication company in Brooklyn called Shelton Studios Inc. And I was led by another female boss, so that was really great. So I worked there for about a year and really kind of honed in on my technical skills a little bit more as a metal worker and a fabricator. And then I just kind of decided that I needed to get out of New York. I was born and raised there, lived there my whole life up until that point. So I moved all the way to San Diego, California for grad school. So I studied furniture and woodworking at San Diego State University.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how many years were you there?
I was there for 3 years. And then after that, I did a 3-year.
Were you in school or partying?
Mostly in school, but there were parties, not gonna lie. Drank a lot in my 20s, and that's okay. Everyone does. So, and in San Diego too, it's like the weather's perfect all the time, and it's just like perfect party atmosphere. So.
Yeah, pretty big school too, right?
Huh?
It's a pretty big school.
Yeah. I don't remember the population of the school, but it's a pretty. I think it was the biggest in San Diego, if I remember correctly. So.
Right. So you're there for you're in school for 3 years, and after school, did you stay in San Diego or?
No, I took a residency position at the Appalachian Center for Craft, which is in Smithville, Tennessee. It was a residency, and I was able to teach a little bit while I was there. And they're a part of Tennessee Tech University, which is in Cookeville, Tennessee. It's about an hour outside of Nashville. So then I was there for 3 years, and just I worked on my most recent body of work, which is the steel replicas of the furniture pieces. And so I started really developing that work there, and there for 3 years, and then I moved here to Mississippi about a year ago. So that's how I got to Mississippi.
Okay, so I lived in Louisiana,
okay,
Alabama,
mm-hmm.
Georgia, DC,
mm-hmm.
now New York City.
Yeah.
You started in New York, went to San Diego,
mm-hmm.
and Tennessee,
right,
Mississippi.
Right.
What's
We're
that?
on opposite trajectories. You're going this way, I'm going that way.
Oh, you're gonna come back up here. Don't worry.
Well, my family's still in New York, so yeah, I go up there every 6 months.
So what is that like?
The moving, or just being here?
Being there.
Well, I've sort of gotten used to the South, I guess. I'll put it that way. So being in Tennessee, I've sort of gotten accustomed to like Southern culture, I guess. So I sort of got to acclimate a little bit before I moved to Mississippi. It wasn't really until I moved to Mississippi when I realized how bad the education is here. That's not really at any fault of the students. It just happens to be.
Yeah, it's I'm from Louisiana, the neighbor.
Yeah.
So it's Mississippi, Alabama,
mm-hmm.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I kind of got this job through a mutual friend. They were looking for this position, someone for this position, and or the guy who was in this position got a job as the head of the department, so he was looking to replace himself essentially. So he was kind of asking people around, and my name got brought up, and so I got really lucky into getting this job. But so I figured I would give it a shot for at least a year. I'm here for a second year now, so yeah.
And are you teaching college students or?
Yeah, I'm teaching undergrad art students, the sculpture program.
Do you see any potential?
In some of the students, yeah. I mean, sometimes their past educations have failed them, so I have to like reassure them that like it's okay that you don't know something, and I'm here to help you through that, you know. And it's sometimes it's like really upsetting to have to like walk a student through that when they have a ton of potential. And the other thing about it too is like the arts in general isn't really I don't want to say it's not respected, but it's not held to as high in esteem as like football is, for example. So like we we would have like outreach programs where junior high school kids come in and just kind of tour the campus and they walk through the studios and stuff. And I'd ask them like, "Oh, are any of you guys in an art class or interested in art?" And like no hands get raised. And they're all just like, they have no like education in the arts. So
yeah, no reference
from square one. Yeah. So for some students that have potential, like with like very little, if any, art experience, it's really kind of it's great to see for sure.
So you have a lot of raw talent.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that can be difficult to work with.
Yeah, I mean, in some cases not though, because having taught workshops before where people are maybe hobbyists and they kind of have
and don't know anything, right?
Right. So you're having to like teach like you're trying to get them to unlearn bad habits. That's what I was trying to say. So if they don't know anything, then they have no bad habits either. So sometimes it's a little bit easier, but I have students that like can't read a ruler, don't know how to read an analog clock, like things like that. And you're just like, okay, so we have to really start from square one here. But
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let me tell you, those students who are not in your class to read that ruler, graduate from college and become adults.
Well, I know, yeah.
And they become adults with jobs who can't read a ruler. Right,
yeah. And now they can't read clocks. So if I say like counterclockwise, they don't know what I'm talking about.
What that is.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like having to like, so I'm constantly learning too, because I'm like, okay, they don't know what that is. So I might have to I either have to teach them how to read a clock or I have to rephrase everything that I've said. So I have to go turn it to the left or turn it to the right or something like that, you know. So it's a learning experience for me too, to say the least.
How do you like teaching?
So I love teaching, but I hate all the paperwork and the bureaucracy that goes along with it, which is unfortunate, but it's part of being in the college, I guess. That's mostly why I don't think I'm going to be in college level teaching for much longer, if I'm being totally honest. But I love teaching like 1 week workshops where it's just like a pay to play type thing, and they learn how to make a table in a week, and stuff like that is really great. So there's elements of teaching that I really, really love.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's get into your furniture.
Yeah.
So the chairs, how did this come about?
So it's been a body of work that I was thinking about ever since grad school.
So let me pause you, right?
Okay.
T. Curtis, who is a chair maker. Mm-hmm. Do you know him?
Not personally, but we follow each other on Instagram. So.
Yeah, he's a boss.
Yeah.
He said those chairs are awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. So, okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I had been thinking about this work really ever since grad school. I wasn't really confident enough in my skill set to start making it then. But a lot of it came about through while I was at the Appalachian Center for Craft after my first year there. Like my first year, I was kind of just like making like random things and didn't really have like a real direction yet. And then I started to get really frustrated because it started like to hit me that I was a woman in this field and I was always going to be a woman in this field. Because I would get people like coming in for studio visits and be like, "Oh, so who does all your welding?" And I'd be like standing right in front of my welder and I'm like, women weld too. Or like, "Oh, so is it you that makes furniture or does your partner make furniture?"
But where's the furniture maker?
Yeah. So then I kind of went back to this idea of basically I wanted to trick people into thinking they were looking at wood pieces of furniture, but they're actually made out of metal. So it's kind of a snarky way to go about making work, but I got a kick out of it.
Yeah, pretty damn good job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I've been enjoying it, so I'm hoping to keep it going for as long as I can.
So, okay, so why would you want to make your metal look like wood?
Well, it was really just like to highlight the materiality of steel, because I think the main thing that really got me thinking about it was at the time in the craft center, I was making wood and steel pieces. And the steel would always be like powder coated or painted or whatever. So I would have people come into my studio and they're like, "Oh, what kind of wood is that?" And they're pointing to the metal part. And I'm just like, "It's not wood, that's steel." So it made me like really frustrated that they weren't understanding that this was like a play between the two materials. So with this body of work, having those pieces look like wood, but have them be like sanded through and rusted, like they don't see it immediately, but then they walk up close to it, or if they even touch it, they're like, "Oh shit, well, this is not wood at all."
Right.
So that kind of gets them thinking about both the materiality of wood and steel, like in totally different ways.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, because when I first looked at it, I thought it was wood.
That's the idea.
And I had to do the double take. I was like, damn. So, and that elevates the talent level as well.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to have them be more complicated in terms of the technical aspect of it too. So I'm challenging myself as well as challenging viewers too, I guess. Mm-hmm.
So who are your, now, is it chairs that you prefer most to do, or other pieces of furniture?
Chairs I have the most fun with, but I'm working on a giant like chest right now, so I'm trying to like expand that repertoire of different furniture pieces. But chairs are the most fun, because I think people relate to them the most, and they're like the most anthropomorphized of all the like furniture pieces, because they have legs, they have backs, things like that.
So who's your favorite chair guy? Do you have one?
I don't know that I have one really.
There are a lot of good ones.
Oh, I know, yeah. Like T.E. Curtis, yeah.
And they're special kind of crazy too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all furniture makers are nuts. So.
Yes, that's true. To get in this business, you've got to be a little off.
Oh, yeah. You got to be like a little bit of a party animal too, I think.
A little bit.
Yeah, like just a little bit to be fun, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I have any like specific chair makers that I follow on a regular basis. A lot of the, like I work a lot from just like images to get like the proportions and stuff. So it's a lot of the pieces are just like old pieces I find on like First Dibs or like just Google searches of furniture pieces. So there's a lot of research involved, but I try to go for like furniture pieces that that people might like recognize from like their grandmother's house or something. So the older usually the better.
Okay. Now, doing research, what's the oldest chair design you found?
Ooh, well, I think there's a lot of like Asian and Egyptian chair designs that are quite old, especially Egyptian. There's like a few stools that are like thousands and thousands of years old. Lately, I'm just trying to stick to like European and American furniture because I'm trying not to like appropriate from other cultures really, so I'm trying to be a little cognizant of that. But that's something maybe later on down the line I might do.
But okay, and I get that.
Yeah.
The not want to appropriate, but isn't that also paying homage?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Yeah, I mean,
because okay, let's say you get this Moroccan chair or this Egyptian chair, and it's thousands of years old, right? Mm-hmm. You reproduce that, and you bringing back a chair that most people have not seen.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose. I mean, I haven't really thought about it in that respect. I was really just more concerned about people maybe viewing it the wrong way.
Being
PC.
PC.
It just depends on the audience that these are going to be shown in.
Screw them.
Yeah.
Take that chair, make that chair, and just say, listen, I'm going to shout out India. I'm going to shout out Africa.
Yeah.
This is what it was like 1,000 years ago.
Okay, yeah. Maybe that'll be a whole other body of work, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them get over it.
Yeah.
Because the point is not for you. You're not stealing theirs. It's
right.
it's something that you respect.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, I love furniture. Obviously, I wouldn't be making furniture if I didn't. And like, it's funny because like in the pieces I choose, I'm definitely paying homage to the furniture pieces, but I'm definitely making fun of woodworkers too, and sort of like this mentality that like you have to find the right piece of walnut and it has to look like this, you know, and the joinery has to be dovetails and they all have to be hand cut, and just like it's kind of all ridiculous, you know.
Yes.
So it's like I'll just make out of steel, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, it can be a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It can be a lot.
Yeah.
What is next?
Ooh, in terms of career trajectory, well, like I said, I think I have another year here, so I'll be here in Mississippi until about April or May, and then I'm hoping to do residencies again. Honestly, like I would love to do the Penland residency. Like that's first choice in my mind. I was also supposed to do a residency at the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft this past summer, but the pandemic kind of shot that in the air. So hopefully next fall I'll be able to do that. So I'm really looking to get back into just making my own work and making that the priority.
Okay, cool. Jay Henney 66, what's up? I'm digging that card table and that heavy metal hinge. Great work.
Oh, thank you.
T. Curtis, we need to be made fun of. Yes. And he has a great sense of humor. So
Yeah.
have you taken any workshops?
I haven't taken a workshop in a while. I taught a workshop last summer at Aeromont, and I assisted a workshop at Haystack last summer, both woodworking workshops. But the last workshop I took was at Penland, I guess it was like 7 or 8 years ago now, with Tim Lee, who's a boat builder. So I was the only woman in that class, so the boat got named after me, so it was kind of nice.
Very nice.
So that was a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do workshops again. It just comes down to a matter of funding and time, really.
Yeah, both of those are very important.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What inspires you?
Lots of things, really. For a while, it was like things that I didn't like about furniture making, like this idea that like dovetails have to be hand cut and all those sort of like finicky parts of woodworking. So that was sort of my guiding inspiration for a little while to keep working on this body of work. Then I also get inspired, like I said earlier, by like fellow female furniture makers and metal workers who are just out there doing their thing and are, you know, trying to make a difference in our communities. So certainly everybody in this political climate too. It's like it's really inspiring to see people like outraged and doing something about it. So,
taking action.
Yeah, I mean it needs to happen. Absolutely.
Best Nathan, I think the difference between appropriation and homage is: are you taking credit and profiting from it? Yeah, you're right.
No.
Exactly. That's
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe I'll start looking into other cultures. You guys have convinced me.
Yes, I think you should.
Yeah.
What do you prefer, metal to wood?
I mean, wood is metal is the first thing I've fallen in love with. So that's always going to have first place in my heart. But the materials are both so different and so similar, and like kind of like I never really realized it until I started working on this body of work. Because a lot of the techniques that I use are borrowed from woodworking. Like kerf bending is a thing I use all the time in the metalworking. Because I really only use two tools. I have my TIG welder and my angle grinder, and that, for the most part, that's it. So I have to sort of appropriate woodworking techniques in order to get the shapes that I need. So like the arm for that George Costanza chair, that was all kerf bent and just welded back together, essentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, T. Curtis wants to know, who are some female makers we should be following?
Okay, so there's Vivian Beer, who's a metal furniture maker. Sarah Marriage, and you can also follow a workshop of our own, and they're in Baltimore. Laura Mays does really great work, and she's the head of the wood program at the Krenoff School currently. There's Phoebe Kuo, who is I forget where she is, but she's also a great furniture maker.
Okay, what's her name?
Phoebe Kuo. I think it's Kuo. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but ooh, there's like a whole list, but I'm totally blanking now. But there's tons more. That's at least 4 to start with. Rachel David is another metal worker, furniture maker.
Yep, she's coming on.
Okay, great. Yeah. And Silver River Chairs, Brandy Clements and her husband are. I think she's the one who recommended me for this, actually.
Yep, she put me on to you.
So yeah, I mean that's chair caning, but still like a great historical reference for furniture. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I met her through David Johnson, Sidecar Furniture.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you see through Instagram, social media, that you'd like different or to change?
Well, that's it. I never really thought about that. That's an interesting question. I mean, Instagram has a lot of benefits to it. I think I've gotten to know a ton of people through Instagram, you included, and like most everyone who's on this conversation thread right now. I think if I were to change anything, it might be like, I honestly don't know. Yeah. I haven't really given that much thought. What would you change anything? Tough question.
It is. It is
Yeah.
because there are definitely some things that change, but I like to be prepared to answer it and say it, as opposed to just blurting it out and the next 2 days thinking, damn, I shouldn't have said that. So I think what I would like, if there was something to change, and it's part of probably a human American problem than it is an Instagram problem, which has manifested itself on here, is authenticity.
Okay, yeah.
I think a lot of we're entertained by garbage. Music, what we read, what we see, and people looking a little further beyond epoxy being poured and making an assumption to furniture making based on that.
That's a really good answer to that. I feel like I get that more from like Pinterest, and my students are like, "Oh, I saw this thing on Pinterest. Can I just make that?" I'm just like, "No, stop looking at Pinterest." So I feel like Instagram is maybe a little bit better in that respect, but yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Do your experiences growing up in NYC influence your work or experience as an artist maker?
Has growing up in New York influenced
Yes.
that? I mean, that's always a weird question for me to ask, because I'm just like, I don't know what it was like to grow up in New York. It's just a normal childhood. I don't know. I think I had more exposure to like the arts because all the museums and stuff. So certainly, I think that may have influenced me, maybe more unconsciously when I was younger. But that's the thing I really miss about not living in New York is going to museums and seeing like the whole furniture library that the Met has. And just like, oh my god, So,
There's art everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. In the middle of the street. The median. It's everywhere.
Literally everywhere. Yeah. Like in subways. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, even the street art, the graffiti.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
I used to love the graffiti. Like, I was really upset when like Giuliani tried to like he did get rid of all of it. I'm just like, man, it was like
he got rid of it on the trains. It's alive and well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people got in big trouble for that. Did time.
Yeah.
Such is life. Jane, the Costanza chair is awesome. You did curve cuts to make those curves. Wow, the cane work and colors are great. Yeah, that chair is pretty darn amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, can we get a shop tour? Is that possible?
It's a little bit of a mess right now, but sure. Yeah, I'll just see if we can do that. All right. Sorry, you're on like a tripod thing. So, okay. So there's my welder right there, my little baby. I don't have many pieces. The pieces are all like at shows and stuff, but this is the piece I'm working on right now. You can see it. Oh, there we go. So it's a Hadley chest. So it's like a Boston, designed by Hadley, but it's like from the 17 or 1800s or something like that. And it's the biggest piece I've made so far. So that's still. I started working on this back in like January, I think. It hasn't moved much. But, so then I also have one of these chairs here. There it is. Where to see it?
Very nice.
Yeah, it's sort of like a shaker style chair, and the seat's all woven steel strapping, so it's all steel.
Wow, and you did that's all yours.
Yeah.
And that looks like wood.
That's the idea. Yeah. So you can see it closer up. You can like this. I didn't really rust, so you can actually see the steel through it. But yeah, this you can all see the rust on that. So yeah, that's that chair. Got my pile of wood right here. I do woodworking occasionally.
So where do you get your wood from in Mississippi?
Well, we don't really. If I'm buying wood for school, then we actually order from a place in Arkansas, I believe. So yeah, and then there's also some places in Alabama, I think, but there's no wood sourcing here, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. Like I didn't know that before I moved here, and I was just like, "Oh, where do you buy wood from?" And they're like, "Oh, you don't." I'm like, "Oh, I should have asked about that before I moved here."
Mississippi, Arkansas. That's far.
Yeah, it's like so I think here to like Little Rock is like 6 hours or something like that. So I think we get ours from Little Rock if I remember correctly. But it's like insane. Yeah. I mean, we have like hardware stores that sell like poplar and red oak, but they're like wrapped in plastic and already surfaced. So it's like.
Yeah, and they obviously got it from somewhere far away.
Yeah. And it's like you're paying an arm and a leg for it. And it's just poplar. So anyway, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
If you could have your choice of materials of anything, what would you want to work with?
Like if I could only work in a certain material, or just like I had the option to work with anything in the world.
Both.
Well, steel would be the first part of that answer.
Just steel, not brass, not.
Brass
copper.
is fussy, so bronze is like beautiful to work with. So if I could get my hands on like sheet bronze for really cheap, it's like a dream to weld. Like I love welding silicon bronze.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you done much work with bronze?
I used to do a lot of bronze casting in undergrad and grad school, mostly in undergrad, and I haven't really done it much lately. But I used to love bronze casting. In fact, like one of sort of my early foray into metal furniture was like these itty bitty like bronze chairs that I used to make.
Okay. So what would be your dream piece of furniture to make?
I really love those like Thonay, like those really grand Thonay chairs, like those rockers. That I've been sort of having in the back of my mind, but like technically it's like a bit of a nightmare. But I would love to do a Thonay chair. Like, yeah, I guess
in metal.
Yeah. Of course, in metal.
Yeah, well, I had to be clear.
Yeah. Or maybe like a Hans Wegner chair, like something like that. So I love the Scandinavian designs too. So
beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Just like really clean and refined, and it'd be beautiful in steel.
So when does school start?
Next week, or not this Monday, but next Monday, so the 17th.
Is it online or are people coming to class?
face to face. Yeah. Although I'm
ready?
kind of going rogue and going mostly online anyway. Yeah.
You ready?
I'm getting there. I started putting most of my classes online this week. I shot videos on YouTube, and I've been posting videos to my classes, so hopefully they'll learn something. I'm hoping they learn something, so we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, did I forget anything?
I don't think so. This was a really great talk, so I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much for your time.
Absolutely.
And for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
And hopefully, God willing, through your life as you grow, we'll bring you back on.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you'll be a completely different person.
Yeah. Maybe we can meet in New York next time I'm up there.
God willing, I'm here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm here. You can stop by the shop.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love that.
Yep. The shop may not be here then because I'm trying to move to Dover, New York.
Okay.
To a place that more suits what I want to do.
Yeah.
Bigger space, cheaper.
Cheaper up there too.
Yes. The city is hard, man.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's unforgiving.
That's the one nice thing about, not the one nice thing, but one of the nice things about moving to the South. It is so much cheaper here but like pretty much everywhere is cheaper than New York. Maybe
yes, except parts of California.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's expensive. It's hard. And it makes life so much harder.
Yeah. And then getting around is so much harder if you're driving, particularly. Yeah. So
yeah.
I can relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, but I love it. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Oh, I miss the hell out of New York, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So again, thank you very much.
Yeah. Again, thank you for having me.
You're a wonderful artist, and I wish you the best of luck and keep pushing it.
Thank you. And good luck with this. This is a really great resource for all sorts of artists, not just.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do. Just bring a bunch of people on that we can talk to and get to know that from many different walks of life.
Yeah, especially in this day and age where being social is like really helpful. So yeah,
it is. Mm-hmm. It is. So thank you again, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.
Bye, everybody.